Hey, everybody, welcome to SOS Small Biz Success Podcast. And I finally have a background that is truly relevant to everything that I talk about over time. So I'm hanging out here in Mexico, and I wanted to be able to have a live episode, but it's not going live at this point, but you guys will hear this. So welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Bonnie Bonadeo, and we're all about helping you to thrive, helping your brand to thrive helping your brand to survive so that you can thrive. And last episode, I talked about a course correct. And all of us at this point, we need to kind of be looking at what's working and what's not working. And I can tell you guys that vacations are the absolute best thing to be able to do for yourself, to be able to say, oh my God, I need a break from everything that I'm doing because it feels like I'm on a hamster on a wheel, or I just keep doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. You know, the definition of insanity there. But ultimately, what we want to be able to do is to look at the things that are working and eliminate the things that are not working or revise them at this point. So today's episode is called Captain's Log. Although I did not have a chance to get out on the water on this particular trip, I did a lot of soul searching on the beach, did a lot of walking on the beach, did a lot of just thinking through things. And you guys are aware of kind of like that balance wheel, right? Where it talks about your spiritual side, relationships, friends and family, work, health. There could be some other elements in there too, like finance and stuff. So you can incorporate anything you want in there. And it was a good process and a good evaluation for me. So let's kind of walk through that a little bit here to be able to kind of see where we're at this point. We're at this midpoint of the year. So, we went into 2022 with so many hopes and dreams and, thinking that COVID was kind of coming to an end. Obviously, it did not. It was research because I had it recently. We were hoping to get our businesses back on track. We were hoping to be able to, start doing and implementing the things that we wanted to do. And of course, between inflation, gas prices, everything else that's going on, it seems that we're kind of thrown back into it's just not how it was. And there's this point where we have to be able to say, okay, so if it's not how it was, what do we need it to be? And what can we do in order to still have that life that we desire and that life that we love? All right. So if we look at the very first thing, which I always start with the spiritual side, and vacations are a very spiritual experience if you allow them to be. Yes, I ate plenty of good Mexican food. I definitely drank plenty of spirits, enjoyed time with family with friends, and loved ones. But ultimately, the ocean, I think, is a very spiritual place to be from the beginning. So from a spiritual side, if you look at a scale of kind of like, say, 1 to 10, and then you measure this particular section on that scale from 1 to 10, where are you at spiritually? Now, spiritually can be whatever you want it to be. So, whether you're religious, you go to church, excuse me, or you meditate, whatever that spiritual thing is for you. So I'm gonna give myself a 5 on spirituality, just because I know the power of meditation and I know the power of my belief in God. But have I been actively engaging in it or contributing to it more? No, not recently. I think worry and other things have super exceeded that particular option for me. So I'm going to give myself a 5 on spirituality. Let's go over to friends and family. And you can separate these friends, family, if you need to, but a lot of people like to usually do those together. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself in regards to nurturing and maintaining your friends and family relationships? So I can say for family, definitely, I want to improve there. For friends, it probably is less. I need a lot of improvement because I've not been nurturing my friendships lately. When things get bad, I think we kind of like separate ourselves from the people we're closest to a little bit, or the ones that we have those relationships where it's like, oh, I don't want to burden them with my problems. they're probably feeling bad too. I don't want to add to it, but the truth is we should be and could be checking in on our friends and see how they're doing, because some people may be dealing with it differently than we are. And we may need that support from them, and they may need that support from us. So I'm going to give myself a 3 in regards to friends, and a 6 for family, because I have a small, tight-knit family, but there's always more that I can do in order to encourage my family. Relationships. So this would be something more like a significant other or that special relationship that you have in your life. I'm going to give myself a 9 on that one, because that is the one area of my life that is going really well. And I am investing, I am nurturing, I am making that a priority in my life. And that's after years of having not great relationships and years of being a single girl. I am blessed beyond belief to be able to have this really great relationship right now. So I am definitely going to be investing my time and energy into that. If then we go to work as the next segment, I've always been a hard worker. I've always had that work ethic. I've always enjoyed working. And so I'm going to give myself a 6 on the work level. But this particular vacation really had me stop and evaluate the things that I'm doing and the things that I want to do. The transition that I've had in my personal business from being live to now being mainly 100% online has been a very difficult transition. And I cannot believe the learning curve that, I had to go through in order to kind of get savvy with just having an online business. There's so much involved with technology. There's so much involved with the way that you have to market. And it does. I mean, you got to do 3 times as much online because you're not making that trustworthy connection that you do live. So will I eventually get back to some live events? I hope so. But at this point, I'm going to scale back and really continue to nurture just the handful of pieces that I do. Now, my other part of my business is, of course, working in Jeff's salon, my fiance. And that is where I am devoting and continuing most of my time to be able to work on some really great systems for his business and get it more automated. So I definitely am going to scale that up. So I'm going to give myself 6 overall in business, because there's a lot I still want to do, but I want to evaluate what's working and what's not working before I add anything else to my plate. If we go to finance, I'm going to give myself a 5. There's always more, right? I think that's one of the things that we look at is we measure a lot of times our success based on finance. And with the ups and downs that we've had over the last couple of years, we can feel defeated. We can definitely feel defeated on that. My success, I don't measure based on how much money I'm making. I measure my success on the number of people that I help through my coaching program, that they become more successful, whether that is, through mindset, whether that is through finance, whether that is through accomplishing some successes that they had in mind. That's far more important to me than measuring it by money and everything. I'm motivated by money. I've just never thought that's never been my driving factor in regards to that. And then, of course, I think the last one, is really looking at kind of that mind, body, spirit side. We talked a little bit about spirituality, but our health. How are we doing on our scale of health? I'm going to give myself a 6 on this one, because I definitely do try to take care of myself. I work out 4-5 days a week, a little bit, not a lot, not extensive, not, Ironman kind of stuff. I do like my sweets, so I probably could do better on my diet, as always. But I feel like that's pretty balanced. But health-wise, I've got some work to do in regards to it, especially as we start to get older. It becomes scary. We got to keep an eye on everything. Now, I have a birthday coming up next week, and I always book all my appointments around my birthday, so I never forget when I have to do things. So I have my female exam booked. I have a regular doctor appointment booked to check on cholesterol and some blood panels. And I have a dentist appointment booked, as well as a dermatologist appointment, because as you can see, I love the sun. So I always like to do a good dermatology exam. So all of those get booked in the month of June so that I can remember around my birthday and kind of honor myself with my health as well. So you guys should remember to do that too. Book your appointments. If you're out in the sun a lot like me, book that dermatology appointment. Girls, keep up on your stuff, okay? Because there's a lot of hidden diseases that are happening right now. And with the level of stress that we're all dealing with, it goes from, stress to dis-ease to disease. And we have to take better care of ourselves for sure in there. Okay, so on all of that scale, then you want to measure where you're at on all that scale. Then you want to look and focus on those couple areas where you might have measured yourself a little bit lower than normal and say, what can I do to improve that? What can I do to improve that? And like everything that I talk about, the SUM strategy for success, which is sales, operations, mindset, marketing, and education, you can apply the same principles to that to be able to support you in that. So if business was an area that you wanted to work on, perfect. Look at what you can do to improve the business. If finance is something that you want to work on, then go to the sales category and look at what you need to do for that. If it's spirituality or health, go to the mindset category and implement some ideas to be able to do that. So in my captain's log here, June 2022, I really just did some good thinking of simplifying the work that I'm doing with the hopes of being more value driven so I can attract more people to simple opportunities to grow their business. I think things feel very overcomplicated to us right now. I think that time and money are factors in people making decisions as always, right? And I call that the timer method: time, money, energy, resources. But I think time and money are definitely weighing on us heavily, and people need to make better decisions. So I'm going to spend the summer producing some content, launch it come fall, and keep it really, really simple for people to be able to make a small investment of money and time so that they can gain some of the access that they want to in regards to some of the SOS coaching programs that I have. In the meantime, I'm going to be jumping back into the salon and continuing to help the beautiful salon that Jeff has grow even more than it has over the last year, so that we can start to see those numbers climbing a little bit more for not just the salon, but for all of our staff as well. All right, guys, I'm signing off. I'm so glad I was able to do this program with a great background, a live background. And I look forward to seeing you then next week on the SOS Small Business Success Podcast.